The Chapter of Space. Lifechanyuan. 1. Introduction. Lifechanyuan. Till now, humans are familiar with only one side of the space, namely, they only know the space of the material world and don't understand the space in the anti-world. We falsely believe that only the environment on the Earth is suitable for human living. And after landing on the Moon and taking photos of the Mars, we are, after short-time excitement, sad to feel that the neighbors of the Earth are not suitable for human living and it is an impossible task to reach the more distant planets. Tragedies happen frequently due to our knowledge shortage of the negative universe. Our confusion about the future has limited our vision within the present time and current life. All of life we live in hurry, worry and tension, neglecting the life value and meaning and mess our life which should have been beautiful. The science and technology has been developing rapidly, such as the virtual space of internet, nanometer technology, cloning, genetic code and decoding, Harper telescopic photos of the outer space, and applications of atomic and ionic energy. The development should have stimulated the human thinking and led us to know the antimatters, negative space, the life meaning and the establishment of a brand new value system, giving us a better, easier and more enlightened life. Nevertheless, the achievements in science and technology have strengthened the people's consciousness of material existence, hindered us from probing into the negative universe, made the people busier, more nervous and worried. The relationship between humans and the society is closer, the relationship between humans themselves are more intensified, the human freedom is much reduced. People are kept farther away from their natural attributes and closer to the robotic features. The human beings are now on an accelerating train without brakes. Even those old farmers living in the most distant areas have to take the express train whether they are willing or not. The driving force of the train comes from the human beings, but the biorobots will drive and manage the train, mechanizing all the people on it. We find it difficult to understand the negative space and think it belongs to the unreliable metaphysics. In fact, when our wisdom is upgraded to a certain degree, we can see it. The human eyes can only see the light rays ranging between 400 mm and 700 mm length, and human ears can only hear the sound ranging between 20 and 20,000 Hz frequency. There is no water in the middle of the sea swirls. The center of the hurricane is at great peace. So we can't conclude those we can't see do not exist, or those we can't hear are silent. Everyone has dreams. Are you really there in your own dream? If not, why do you have consciousness in this strange dream environment with desires and emotions? If yes, then who is the guy lying on the bed? So the sleeping person on the bed and the moving person in the dream are all you. The only difference is that you are in different spaces. The space in the dream is the negative space. There are many negative spaces in the universe and dream space is only one of them. We need to understand the concept of space by using the ideas of Lifechanyuan and Einstein's theory of relativity. Lifechanyuan said, in a tiny dust, there are many limitless worlds. In the worlds, there are dusts too. And in these dusts, there are also many worlds and the process repeats. Represents the world and the tiny dust stands for the universe. For instance, 1 nanometer, compared with a grain of sand, is just a tiny dust. Compared with the Earth, a grain of sand is a tiny dust. Compared with the Milky Way system, the Earth is a tiny dust. Compared with the Earth universe, the Milky Way system is a tiny dust. With the large universe, the Earth universe is a tiny dust. Einstein once said, relativity space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, therefore, there exists an ether. The non-materials are the contrast of the materials. The negative space is the opposite of the space. The celestial beings are the contrast of the human beings. The intangible life is the opposite of the tangible life. A leaf, a water drop, and a sand grain are all a mammoth world. A silicon chip of 1 square mm can store all the books in a large library. An electrical pulse of a frequency can carry numerous things. A human body includes 130 trillion lives. A sand grain can hold thousands of villages. For a life body that can only be seen under an electron microscope, humans are the giants. For a human being, the Earth as a living life body is a titanic giant. However, when the time-space changes, 100 million people can live on a grain of sand and will not feel crowded. In different spaces, the life has their distinctive living conditions and food system. We can never understand the living conditions and food systems of the people living in another timespace based on our own. At the same time, we cannot regard those living in another timespace have the same height or weight as we do. You might think I am just talking about nonsense when I tell you that you can live on the planet several million light years away. That's because you don't understand the negative universe speed. So what is the negative universe speed? It is the moving speed of the antimatters. For example, a person working at the Antarctic workstation misses his hometown very much. His thinking can immediately go to his hometown. Though his body is still in the Antarctic, his thinking and consciousness is in the hometown. This is the negative universe speed. For the sake of understanding, I assume the negative universe speed at 1 light-year per second. The actual speed is faster than that. When we enter the space tunnel, we go at the negative universe speed.